guys, happy Tuesday. So on Monday, you were asked to read pages 4 through 7. So as we start our guided reading, we are going to go over pages 4 through 7. I truly enjoyed reading pages 4 through 7. I found it very informational. And honestly, I didn't even realize that there were people who lived in Antarctica. So let's start, okay? So the scale we're going to cover for this week is going to be summary. Okay, we're going to summarize this book, but we're going to do it in baby steps. So today, your main goal is to look for words that are repeated, and we're going to identify the main idea. Because when writing the summary, you have to know what the main idea is. What is the purpose? Okay, so what was the purpose of this article? So today we'll find the main idea, and then Wednesday and Thursday we'll begin to construct our summary, which, as your teachers have told you, we're going to synthesize the text. So, page 4, the title is The Frozen North. Okay, so this is a subtitle. So, there is a place on earth where it is always cold and the ground is frozen and the land is flat. So much of the year it is covered in a white blanket of snow. So on this passage right here, on this paragraph, they're leading us into the place of topic. Okay? So this land is so far north. So now they're giving us detail on where it's located. They're telling us about the ground, how it's frozen and flat. The land remains dark for 24 hours a day. So, in the winter, it's dark. It's dark from morning to night. They don't get sun until the summertime. And in the summertime, the sun is out 24/7. So, this place is called the Arctic. So, people live in the Arctic. It is also sometimes called the land of the midnight sun. Okay, so as I read, I noticed that the word Arctic was repeated multiple times on this page. It also gave me facts of describing the Arctic. Now, on page 5, they talked about how it's cold and snowy. So I noticed that cold and snowy is repeated quite often. They talked about animals, and then there's the Arctic again. Okay. And then they gave examples of animals that live in the Arctic. And then they described what the summertime animals look like. And they talked about what animals migrate to the Arctic during the summertime. As I kept reading, they went into talking about the people who live there. They talked about the people who lived there thousands of years ago, which would tell you that that's what migrate means. Migrate. So this pages 4 through 7 talks about people who lived here many years ago. Okay, so people lived here over 1,000 years ago. Now, I found it interesting that the people who lived here 1,000 years ago obviously did not have fancy jackets or electricity. Okay, I also found it interesting that these people, growing up, we called them Eskimos, but in reality, they're not known as Eskimos, they're known as the Inuit. Okay? So, they were called Eskimos, but they prefer the term Inuit. So, many years ago, they lived in igloos. Okay, now, one thing I realized is they're telling me how they build houses back then because, they couldn't go to Lowe's and buy hardware. And they talked about how they survived. On page 7, I noticed that it started talking about getting into what the main idea could be. So this book is about the traditional way the Inuit lived. Okay? So right there, this tells me that this is important. So what does this sentence that I'm trying to highlight tell you? That's right. Well, you see what I'm trying to highlight. It's giving me a little difficulty. Highlight, and then I want to highlight this word. Okay, well, I'm trying to highlight this word right here too. So this book is about the traditional way the Inuit lived, okay? It does not describe how every Inuit person lived, but it gives me an overview of how many of them lived for many years. So, you will read about the igloos, dog sleds, ice fishing, and more. You will even find out what games the Inuit played on cold winter days. In the last chapter, you will read about the Inuit who still live in the far north today. So the main idea is that this book is about the traditional way the Inuit lived. So that would be our main idea. I would remember that because you're going to be given a question on that. Okay, so that's what pages 4 through 7 were about. For next week, I want you to read, and let me look at my notes. For next week, you are going to read pages 8 to 13. I know it sounds like a lot, guys, but remember, Friday is a holiday, so we've got to get everything in by Thursday. So tomorrow, read pages 8 through 13. Okay, I'm going to pause real quick to get ready for the anchor chart and your word work. Okay, guys. Let me see. There we go. So let's go over our anchor charts, okay? So this week, the skill we're covering is summarizing nonfiction. So when you are summarizing, and I will include this I will include the anchor chart. A summary of expository text retells the most important information in your own words. So it's important information in your own words, and it's not including, so it does not include what your opinion is. So do not say, I think, or in my opinion. We do not include this when writing a summary. Look for repeated words. So like when we were going through pages 4 through 7, I was highlighting words that were repeated multiple times. Retell this information in your own words. You don't want to copy sentence from sentence because that's known as plagiarism. Leave out unimportant details. Do not put something because you find it fascinating. Is it important? Is it going to go with the text? And include the main ideas. That is why today's assignment is asking you to identify the main idea. And if you were listening, I gave you the answer to the question you will answer. Okay? So, do not write your opinions. Okay, I'm going to pause there and we're going to get into our word work. Okay, guys, this week's word work is going to include, or what we're going to be working on the whole week, are word ladders. So word ladders is you're changing one letter at a time. Okay, we're changing one letter at a time. So let's look at our ladder. This is my ladder. I started with mice. That is the word I'm starting with. What letter did I change? Well, I have M, I, E. I changed the N. Now, I'm done with mice, so I'm using the word mine. What letter did I change? I have M, I, N. I changed the E to a D. Now I take mind. What letter did I change? The B. And if you keep going down, what letter did I change? I have the B, the I, the D. This was the one I changed. So you are changing one letter at a time. There is no right or wrong answer. These are the words that you can come up with. Okay, so this is the word work we're doing for the week. Okay, guys, happy Tuesday. Don't forget to read pages 8 to 13 for Wednesday. Bye, guys.